In this video, we'll be hunting a box of nickels. We'll be looking for anything from before 1960, including Civil War nickels, Buffalo nickels, or anything older. We'll also be looking for any foreigns, proofs, errors of varieties, or any other cool things we can find. And I'm really excited to hunt this box because we have a really rare ender. Right here, we have an ender from 1950, and for those of you who don't know, it can either be a 1950 Philly, which is a semi-key date, or a 1950 D, which is the rarest Jefferson nickel, so no matter what, that's a great find. And I've only found a few of 1950s ever, so yeah, I'm really excited for that. Also, hopefully I can find a buffalo, because I'm way over 20 boxes with no buffaloes found, so I hope I can end that bad streak. Anyways, let's start the hunt, and I'll bring you in when we have our first find. Roll 2 had the first find for the box, and it is 1954, minted in Denver. Roll 5, and we have the first 40s find of the hunt, and it is 1940, out of Philly, in pretty decent shape. Roll 8, and I thought the ender looked old, and it did turn out to be old, and it is 1958, out of Philly, which is a slightly better date that I don't see too often. That's a great find. Just open the next roll, and one away from being an ender, we have the first foreign of the box, and it is a Canadian nickel from 1993. Roll 11, another find from the 50s, and this one is another 1954 Denver. Next roll, and we have our second nickel from the 40s, and it is 1941 from Philly. Just opened roll 15, which was that 1950 ender, and again, it's either a Philly, which is a semi-key date that I've only found a few of, or a Denver, which is the key date Jefferson nickel, and I've only found one of those ever. It does have quite a bit of the ring of death on the front, so it would be kind of sad if it was a 50D, but let's flip it over and see what it is. And it is just a 1950 Philly, but still, that's a semi-key date. Only found a few of those ever. It does have the ring of death, but still, 1950 Philly, semi-key date, that's a great find. Roll 17, another nickel from the 50s. This one is 1953 Philadelphia. Next roll, another find from the 40s. This one's going to be 1947 Denver. Roll 21, and I already pulled out 1957 from Denver, but I just uncovered a great find. It's going to be a proof, well, not really a proof because I turned this one around already to 1966, and from 1965 through 67, instead of proofs, they made these special mint sets, and this is definitely a special mint set coin. It doesn't show up as well on camera, but it definitely has sort of a mirror finish, and it also has full steps on the back, so this is definitely a special mint set coin. Have found a few of these in other denominations, and this is my first nickel. That is an awesome find. Roll 23, and we have another nickel from 1940, just like the other one. This one's from Philly. Roll 26, had a few nickels from the 50s, and they are 1953 from Philly, another 1954 Denver, and a really nice 1959 from Denver as well. Roll 29, another find from the 40s, and this one is pretty decent shape, 1948 Denver. Roll 31, just a few coins in, and look what I just uncovered. Super nice, 1959, it has some rainbow toning on it too. That's one of the best condition 59s I've ever found, that's for sure. And it is a Philly. Wow, that's an amazing shape. Can't really see the toning too well on camera, but it definitely has some like blue and orange toning on it. Wow, that is an amazing find in great shape. Roll 34, a couple more finds, and they are 1946 out of Denver and 59 from Denver as well. Roll 41, and I already pulled out this blackened 1959 out of Philly, but I bring you in because I just uncovered the oldest nickel of the hunt, and it is a 1939. If it has a mint mark, it's a key date. If not, we can check for the DDR. Let's see what it is. And of course, it's just a Philly, not a key date, and it doesn't look like the DDR, but still, first 30s nickel of the hunt. That's a great find. Roll 42 had a couple of discolored older nickels. The first one is a 1946 out of Denver, and the other one is 1954 from Denver as well. First nickel box has been hunted, and I am going to add a second box on this video since we didn't get any Buffaloes or Silvers. But it was still a pretty good box. We got quite a bit of older Jeffersons, including that 1939 and this really nice 1959 Philly. We got one Canadian, and then I'd say probably one of the best finds of the box was definitely this 1966 SMS. Never found an SMS nickel before. That's awesome. And we also got that 1950, which was an ender. It was just a Philly, but still semi-key date. Definitely barely see those. That's an awesome find. So this definitely was a good first box, but I'm going to add a second box, and I'll be back when I have nickel box number 2. Alright, I'm back, and we do have the second nickel box of this video in front of us. And I did look, and there are no confirmed enders, but hopefully we can get some good finds in the rolls. So let's start hunting nickel box 2, and I'll bring you in when we have our first find. First find of box 2 is in roll number 3, and it's a 50s nickel, which is 1956 from Philly. Next roll had another 50s find. This one is 1953 from Philly. Roll 9, and we have yet another find from the 50s, and it's the same as the last one, another 1953 Philly. Roll 11, just opened the roll, and we are going to have our first foreign of box 2, just another Canadian nickel right here, and it's going to be a 1989. Next roll, yet another find from the 50s. Hopefully this box can get some older finds soon. Anyways, this one is 1957 out of Philly. Roll 14, and we have the oldest find of box 2, finally one from the 40s, and it is 1940, minted in Philly. Just opened roll 18, and I noticed the edge looked a little off, and that's because we have a foreign, and it's not from Canada this time. Haven't gotten one of these in quite a while. We have a Mexican Peso, and this one is from 2021. Wow, that's a really new one. Can't believe it's already made its way all the way up here, but either way, that's a cool foreign find. Roll 25, halfway point of the box, and we have another nickel from 1957, and this one is out of Philly. Roll 27, just open the roll, and we're going to have yet another foreign, and this one looks like it's going to be another Canadian nickel right here, and it is. It's from 1974, which means this is a pure nickel Canadian. Don't get pure nickel Canadians too often. That is an awesome find. Roll 28 had a couple of nickels from the 50s, and they were 1955 and 1959, both out of Denver. Just opened roll 30, and I thought I saw a worn edge, and I was right. 23 boxes, I haven't gotten any Buffaloes, but that streak is finally over. I do see a couple older Jeffersons in the roll pulled out first. One of them is actually right next to the Buffalo. Pull that one out first. It's another 1957. This one's from Denver. And I also see 40s back here. 1946 out of Denver as well. But finally, a Buffalo nickel. It's been way too long. And looks like date's going to be worn off. I might have to nick-a-date it. Probably an older one at least. And there is no mint mark on the reverse. So it's a Philadelphia. Probably an older one, since I don't see a date. It's been worn off. So I'll nick-a-date it, and I'll bring you back when I have a date. Just finished nick-a-dating the Buffalo, and we do have a date now. And if you can see it, it is a 1916, so I was right about it being in the teens. Have found a couple of 1916s before, and this one is just a Philly, a common one. So I already have this in my album, but still. Finally broke the streak of no Buffalo nickels, no matter what it was. I'm still super happy to have broken the streak. Now, let's get back to the hunt. Hopefully, there's some more in the box. Just open the next roll, and it's not another Buffalo, but we are going to have a Beaver because we have another Canadian nickel right here. This one's going to be a 1985. Next roll once again, and this time we have one from the 40s, and it is a 1940 out of Denver. Roll 34, a couple of nickels from the 50s, and they were 1952, minted in San Francisco, and 1958 Denver. Roll 37, and we have a couple more finds from the 50s, and these ones are 1956 and 1957, both from Denver. Roll 40 had a find from the 40s, and it is a pretty beat up 1946 out of Denver. Roll 43 gave us two of the same find, and they are both 1959s from Denver. Roll 45, yet another find from the 50s, and this one is yet another 1953 out of Philly. Just opened roll 48, and we did it again. We have another Buffalo nickel, and I can already see the date of this one. It's just a common one from the 30s, 1935. Let's see if it has a mint mark. And we do. That's a 1935S. I might not have that one for my album. It is San Francisco, and that is the second Buffalo of the box. And we went 23 boxes in a row with 0, and we just got 2 in the same box. This box is just amazing. Roll 49 had a few more older Jeffersons, and they were 1940 out of Philly and a couple of 1954s, and both of them are from Denver. Second nickel box has been hunted, so let's go over the finds. We ended up with 28 estimates, which is definitely a lot more than normal. We got 5 foreigns, 4 Canadians, including one 1974. That's pure nickel. Don't get those too often, and that's a great find. And we also got a Mexican peso, which I haven't gotten in a while, and this one is actually a 2021, which is pretty interesting. We also got this really nice 1966 special mint set coin. Haven't gotten a special mint set nickel before. It's in really nice shape too, so that's awesome. I will be adding that to my proof album. And then older Jeffersons, we got quite a bit, especially from the 40s and the 50s. Did get a few better ones as well. We got a pretty decent 59 Denver, a really nice 59 Philly, a better date 58 Philly, a semi-key date 1950, which was the ender. It does have the ring of death, but either way, that's okay. And we also got one from the 30s, 1939 from Philly. And then the finds of the box. We got 2 Buffalo nickels in box 2, and we finally ended the streak of no Buffaloes. And they were a 1916 out of Philly, which we had to nicodate, but still, that was a great Buffalo find. And we also got a 1935S in the same box. So 2 Buffaloes in the same box to end the streak. That is awesome. And overall, we had a great variety of finds, and we finally ended the no Buffalo streak. This was an amazing hunt.